Hey creative friends, welcome to my channel, and here I am making the Swiss steak that I talked about making when I took this big London broil out of the freezer on my weekly freezer meat pulls video that you would have seen on Sunday. So this is actually not a round steak. This is a London broil, and the reason I'm using this is because I don't have a round steak in my freezer, and I need to use the things that I already have. So I'm going to use this, and what I've done is I've cut it in half, I've trimmed some of the fat off, and I've tenderized it a bit. The recipe that I got is from this old Campbell's cookbook, which I think is super cool. I love old cookbooks. And the reason I thought this was cool is because instead of just plain old tomato juice, it uses V8 juice, and so I have some. So I got some V8 juice to use for this London broil. So, what I'm going to do for this, I've got a little bit of a twist because I've looked at several of the recipes and there's some flavors that I think would enhance this. So this one, I've got some frozen onions, chopped onions, and I'm going to use those instead of actually chopping up an onion because the only onions I have in the kitchen right now are red onions, so I just want these white onions. And then I'm not going to put carrots in it. I do have some minced garlic that I'm going to use. And I'm going to put a splash of Worcestershire sauce in there because I think it just adds extra flavor. So that's the only change I'm doing to the recipe. But in general, I'm going to take this meat. I've got some flour that I've seasoned with seasoned salt. And I've got this Johnny's, which is from Costco. But you could use like Lowry seasoned salt or any kind of seasoned salt or just salt and pepper. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to coat the sides of this really well. And in my electric skillet, I'm going to put a little bit of oil and I'm going to brown this. Then all of the other ingredients get mixed together and they get poured over and it gets turned on kind of medium low and it cooks slowly for a while. So I'm going to go ahead and brown this and then I'm going to come back when my electric skillet is in front of me and we'll go from there. Okay, I've got that over there browning in my electric skillet. Now, if you don't have an electric skillet, you could just use this skillet on your stove. I just like this because I can set it off to the counter and just have it going there, and no matter what I want to do with my stove. So now if I have something that's going to cook for a long time, like this, that's what I'm going to do. Now, you can even put this in a baking dish and put this in the oven at like 350 for a couple of hours. And if I did that today, I would be using this beautiful baking dish that Doan sent me because I think that'd be a beautiful purpose for it. But for now, I'm going to use my electric skillet. Now, I've opened some tomatoes that I canned, and they're in kind of big chunks, and I don't want them in that big a chunk, so I'm going to use my little potato masher or hamburger thing that you break hamburger up when you're frying, and I'm going to break those tomatoes up. Perfect. Those were fun to can. Okay, so I've got those done. And I'm going to take some of the onions and put in there. Let's see about turning these over. I just want to get a nice brown coating on there. And this is just all like, I think I want that many. And that'll work. You see when I take a frozen vegetable and I open it? I don't know. I show this all the time. I cut the top off, and then I take that top, and it is the tie for the bag that goes back in the freezer with the rest of the vegetables on it. Let me turn this. Oh, that's going to have a nice coating on it. Perfect. Now, I'm going to take maybe 2 tablespoons of garlic, and you could just put a clove or 2 in there. I'm going to leave this out because that's what I'm going to use with the Worcestershire sauce too. There we go. That looks good. Get all those flavors baked together in there. And now, I'm going to put some of this in there. About 2 tablespoons. Perfect. That adds such good flavor. And the deal with using the V8, it's not just like a tomato juice. It's that vegetable juice, and it has a really good flavor. So it's going to add a nice flavor to this. And I'm going to add, I think I'm going to add all 4 cans because I want this to really have a lot of juice to simmer in because it's a big piece of meat and it's bigger than what you would normally use, just a round steak. This is a London broil, so it's a lot bigger piece of meat. I think I'm going to use all 4 cans. because I can always use this and make a nice gravy out of it. Yeah, one more. And you know what else is good with this? If later, now I could take leftover tomato sauce and I could shred up the beef and get some potatoes and carrots and things and put them all together and make a beautiful soup. So that would be easy to do with what's left from this recipe as well. Okay, let me put this in the freezer. Okay, now I'm going to bring this over for you. Going to mix this up nice. That's going to be perfect. Okay, now this has a nice coating on it. Pretty good. I'm going to take a second. I'm not going to make you watch. What I'm going to do is I want to even turn these on the side so that the edge gets brown, because I like that. So I'm going to get this browned all the way around the sides, and then I'll come back. Okay, I've got them nice and browned, and now I'm just going to take this mixture. Actually, let me get a little bit of room between them. There we go. There we go. And now, I'm going to move this over where you can see it. So now I'm just going to get the juice under those two things. And like I said, you can do this in any pot on your stove, any skillet or something. I'm just going to use this. Now I'm going to set that kind of on medium for a while. I'm going to let it go until it's cooking really well. And I might come in and turn it down. But I just want to make sure it cooks long enough that that meat is super tender, super yummy, and ready to serve. And then, about half an hour before this is done, I'm going to come in. I got some garlic on there. I'm going to come in and get some potatoes going. And I think I'm just going to slice up some potatoes and do those in the air fryer so they're nice and crispy, and have this with a salad. So I'm going to let you go. I will come back, probably take a couple of hours for this to cook nice and slow and unlow, and it's going to be delicious. Alrighty, this cooked for about an hour and a half. I thought it would be closer to 2 hours because it was a bigger piece of meat, but it cooked up perfectly. And I served it. I changed my mind on the potatoes, and what I did was I just boiled some potatoes, and I like to mash them with the skins on. So I call it, they're just kind of like country potatoes, I guess. I don't know. But so we're having the mashed potatoes, the rough mashed potatoes, and the beef with the Swiss steak sauce over the top of that and on the tomatoes, and then a salad, or the potatoes, and then the salad. So there you have it. That was the meal that I made with the meat that I pulled on Sunday for the Freezer Meat Challenge. I hope you check it out. I hope you try something like this. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.